Hello, travel biz owner. Welcome to my corner of the travel industry, the Strategic Travel Entrepreneur Podcast. If you're ready to have fun, be inspired, get clarity, and take action in your travel business, then you're in the right place. Let's jump in. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I am in disbelief at the timing. I could not believe that it is December 20th. I would say this quarter has flown by, and historically it has always flown by for me. I probably sound like a broken record to you if you've been with me for quite some time. I am planning to make some changes in 2025 that I am hoping I can savor quarter three a little bit better. But we shall see, because I do not want it to feel like a whirlwind like it has been. And those are some of the things that I'm actually going to talk about next week on the podcast, on the best and worst things that happened to me in business in this past year. I did a similar episode like this last year, so you'll have to tune in, because it is probably the most transparent that I am when I talk about my travel business and what I've been doing this past year. And when I say travel business, I really mean take the helm, because again, for a couple months now, I've been saying this is really the educational side, getting amazing resources. This is what's really fueling everything that I do. So that is my one main focus. Now, do I still have my agency? I do. And it is very small, very low key. I actually just got a retreat cruise contract in last week. And so I'm working on an amazing women's retreat for next year with some clients, and I am super excited to see how that turns out. But yeah, I've been more focused on the other side of things, like really supporting you, supporting the industry, and connecting you with amazing resources. And I just love what I do, and I'm so passionate about it. And I am just super excited for all the amazing things that are coming in the new year, which kind of ties in to a lot of things. It ties into this week's episode. It also ties in because the past couple weeks, I think this is why this year has been a little bit like whoosh to me, because I mentioned this last week, I decided I was going to hand embroider towels like my abuela used to do before she passed. And so I am on my very last towel. Thank goodness. I really want to be done by the end of today with all of that. But that has taken a lot of time. So I'm really excited to be done with hand embroidery towels for a very long time, because now that I have that time back, I can really focus in on putting chock full of content into the cruise content library. Like, I already have the rest, not the rest, but a big chunk of content lined up. And I just haven't been able to do it because family gifts have been coming first. So please, your patience is very much appreciated right now. And really, that's the benefit of getting in at pre-sale price, is that you get the best price that it'll ever be. Because it seems like at the end of quarter one, I don't want to put a month yet, but at the end of quarter one, when all the content is uploaded, we'll go into launch pricing, which will be double the price. So if you're like, I don't want to spend double the price on the cruise content library, then make sure that you get in now at pre-sale pricing. Which then leads me into some of the levers that you can pull, especially when you're thinking about making investments and how much money that you want to make for your business in 2025. What levers can you pull within your travel business to make more money, work a little bit less? Maybe it's hiring on help. And so we kind of do this exercise a little bit in the Plan Your Year workshop. So if you weren't with me, and even if you were, this is going to be a really great refresher. And I want you to think about things when we're going into 2025. Like, I want you just to freshen your mind. And first of all, when we're talking about freshening your mind, I just have to do a side tangent real quick, because I know many of you are a little bit scared to put yourself out there. I also know that you're nervous about charging fees. You question what your value or what your worth is as a business owner and what you can offer to other people, because there's so many people that can plan their own trips and DIY it themselves. I want you to have the confidence of any business owner. And I know, I'm not sure if it was this year or last year. Remember, I gave you the comparison that there was a baby name consultant who was charging like multiple hundreds of dollars to get a consultation to name your baby. You would give them suggestions and all that, and they would give you a list based on what your suggestions, what you were looking for and all that. And people are paying for this service. So if you're like, people aren't paying for my travel services, I want you to remember baby name consultant. And I also want you to remember poop scoop companies. There was, not kidding, I've seen this and I thought it was a scam. On the side of the road, there was like this little sign that said something like, "We will pick up your dog poop." And I'm like, is this a legit business? And yes, it's a legit business. They have a Google business profile. It looks like they have 72 5-star reviews. If I go onto the website, let me see. If I look at their pricing, $92 a month is the starter package, Scoop Holloway. It's a poop scooping service that is performed weekly, up to 5 dogs, and up to 12,000 square feet total property size. The next one is $127 a month, Scoop Holloway yard sanitizing, yard deodorizing, and dog repellent. And then they have a couple of different packages. So if you are concerned, like, do people need your services? I would very much argue to say yes, they need your services, because I feel like scooping dog poop isn't as intensive as it is as planning somebody's trip to somewhere that they've never been before, or somebody's first time outside of the country, or somebody that's wanting to plan this huge group together. If a dog poop scooper can do it, travel friend, you can do this business and you can make it successful. I promise you. And so that's what I want to jump into when we are talking about the different levers that you can leverage and pull within your business. And when I'm talking about levers, there's a couple different things. There's a couple different components that make sales within your business. Before we jump into those components, the different levers, I think the foundational element that helps you really decide what levers you need to pull is that you first need to determine your business capacity. What can you do within your business? What's the scope? How much time do you have? How much brain width do you have? How many people can you take on depending on how long does it take you to do certain things? Which is a whole other, actually, I'm going to add this to a lever that we have. Okay, I'm just typing this note down. Because if you are wanting to work less, technically that means that you need to make more money. And I also want you to reference the money-making activities and practical reasons why you should charge fees as 2 different episodes that I had earlier this year that can help you with this when we're thinking about your business capacity. And then also prep for Wave Week. I think if it's not 2022, I think it is 2022 actually, with what's her name? Michelle Denayo. I'll try and link those episodes as well as her Prep for Wave Week interview about business capacity, but I want you to review that because everybody's year is going to look different and anybody can sell you on any different tactic or strategy on how to be successful. But it's all going to look and work differently for you because you're an individual human being. It's going to work differently for your lifestyle. Some of us have kids, some of us don't have kids, some of us are dealing with aging parents, some of us aren't. Some of us have more time than other people, pretty much. The other thing is, like, what is important to you? Do you just need to make fun money for your family, or do all the bills like really rely on you? Or maybe it is you go 50-50 with your partner, with your spouse, whoever it might be. So making an income really is important to you and important to your lifestyle. So those are all factors that you have to consider, because once you know what your capacity is, how much you can handle for the year, then you know which levers you need to pull. For example, if it is that you wanted to work less, then you need to make more money. So how are you going to be making more money? What can you do that can help you work a little bit less that might not have anything related to revenue wise? So let's jump in, because I'm going to start going back and forth a little bit, because I really feel like these levers work together but also work separately individually. So first of all, I always think about leads because of my lead generation calculator, my yearly income goal calculator. Leads has to be at the top of your list. So if you are one right now that you feel like you have more than enough business, you're kind of drowning in business, you actually need help to support all the business that you have, leads might not be a thing. So you might not have to worry about leads and lead generation, because whatever it is that you're doing to provide really great service is working really well for you. What you need to focus on is another level, which is either hiring help or automation, but we'll come back to that one. If you do not have enough business to support the yearly income goal that you have determined, this needs to be one of the levers that you really pull, because you might have everything else aligned. What you're selling is really great. Commission points are really great. You're really great at selling people when you're on discovery calls. But if you don't have people in your lead pipeline, you are missing the biggest part of what will make your business successful, and that is people. People need to know about your business. They need to not know about your personal business, but they need to know that you are in business. They need to know what you do, who you do it for, how you can help them, so that they not only, one, want to work with you, but two, can also or will refer other people to your business. That is the whole point of networking, and networking can be done in person and it can be done virtually. I think this is a big reason why I love LinkedIn, because while there are a lot of times that I'm not able to network in person, I can do a lot of networking and meeting new people on LinkedIn, and I can schedule coffee chats directly from LinkedIn there. Funnily enough, I was seeing that LinkedIn is probably the least popular social media platform. It looks like Instagram might be first, with Facebook really close there, and then YouTube and TikTok also close, but then TikTok, where the fate of TikTok is up in the air right now. But you need to go where your type of quality people, because again, everybody is unique and individual. So while I say I love being on LinkedIn, your people might be best found in creating a Facebook group with some sort of common bond that you might have. So you just have to find those places and be really mindful of those areas that people are hanging out in, whether that's in person, whether that's virtually. I'm thinking a lot of we're in the middle of school break-ish right now. So I think a lot of the natural type of groups that you might be a part of. So parents, PTAs, all of those after school activities that the kids are in, there's common threads there. You're going to have a community just from there. So how can you really enrich and engage the lives of the people that you're interacting with, especially on quite a regular basis, I'm sure, for some of those things. And if you don't know where to hang out at, I feel like you really need to do some more ideal client work, because once you know exactly who your person is, and I'm not talking about demographics, like I don't need you to say Susie is 65, she made six figures, she lives in a wealthy HOA community, blah, blah, blah. That tells me a little bit about Susan, but that doesn't tell me, is Susan adventurous? Is she not adventurous? Is she dealing with physical or invisible illnesses? Is she a history buff? Is she a cruise hater or a cruise lover? Like, there's certain things about those demographics that don't tell me anything that I need to know as a travel service provider, which is exactly what you are. So you need to get out of those demographics and who are these people? What do they love to do? What do they value? I recently, funnily enough, asked my boyfriend a similar question because there's a certain type of book that he likes to read. And I brought up the question, like, why is it exactly that you like to read these types of books? Like, what's in it for you? And I got a really interesting answer back. And that is what you need to know. What is the motivation of that gets somebody to do something, to take action on something, and specifically when it's related to traveling? So the easier that you're able to figure that out, then you know where to find them. Then you know how often you need to go. You're going to pick up on things. So something that one of the participants of Travel Industry Black Friday mentioned was they know that once a lead comes into their atmosphere, it takes 6 to 9 months to close/convert that lead. So those are the other things that you need to pick up on. And that can also be a lever in itself. Once you have a lead in your world, how long typically does it take for them to convert? Do they need to know you and then 4 months later they're ready to book with you? Or is it a longer process? Because if it's a longer process, that means it's going to take a little bit longer for you to get paid. If it's a shorter process, a little bit quicker to get paid. But you need to know these kinds of factors. In addition, you also need to know what works in finding your leads and what doesn't work. Have you gone to a lot of in-person events and they've just completely flopped? Maybe you've done a lot of virtual events and they've completely flopped. Maybe instead of virtual events, you need to think of like going to in-person conferences or summits or things like that. And that's how you can really find people that are on the same wavelength as you that you really want to work with. So this is a lever that you need to pull. Is it getting more leads, or is it kind of putting the brakes because you really need to do some operational work to get better at processing the amount of leads that you have? Another lever that you can pull is sales. So I know for the most part, everybody's like, I need to have more sales. If this is not you and you're like, I'm drowning in sales, we're coming to the automation and hiring help section, so just bear with us for now. But if you're like, I need more sales, or I need to figure out how to have more consistency in my sales, or I need to figure out how to have sales in quarter one so that I don't have to worry about the rest of the year finding the sales, because I know those sales will trickle in through the rest of the year. This is one of the levers that you need to really focus in on. And there's a couple different things that you need to think about. Sales in terms of how many trips do you want to sell? So is it 300 trips or is it 10 trips? Because you can sell similar types of trips, but they're going to have different commission breakdowns. They're also going to have different sales amounts, because a world cruise is going to be very different than like a 3-night Bahamas cruise. If you sell 300 3-night Bahamas cruise, that's probably equivalent to one world cruise when it comes to commission. So thinking about those terms also, how much work do you want to do? Would you rather like find that diamond in the rough, that world cruiser, and be able to sell 5 world cruises and make your commission like in 5 sales? Or do you want to get out there and meet a lot of people and sell these budget-friendly trips that have smaller commissions, but they're easy to sell for you? So it's kind of, you have to figure out like what's important to you, like what's most valuable to you. So thinking about how many trips do you want to sell, that also goes with the capacity, because again, like selling 300 cruises is going to take a lot of time and energy compared to 5 cruises. So like 300 bookings versus 5 bookings, there it's super different. It's very different. Whereas like on the, it might not be so hard to earn the $300 in sales. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to earn those 5 world cruises because it is a very special type of client that wants that. I also think of, when I think of sales, is the type of product that you're selling. Is this cruises? Maybe it's FITs, maybe it's safaris, maybe it is expeditions through Antarctica, maybe this is food tour treks through Europe, or maybe this is, the beaches of Normandy. There's just so many different types of trips that people can take. What is it that you really want to focus on? Did you think, because I've heard this so often, that so many people wanted to get in this business to sell Disney trips, and then they hate selling Disney trips, so they end up doing something else, which may have been the thing for you. I started in this business wanting to do girlfriend getaways, and now I'm like, I don't want to do B2C. I want to do more B2B. That's really my sweet spot. And when it comes to type, it's not only like who do you want to sell to, but it's also that product. So is this bus tours? Is this rental cars? Is this cruising? There's so many different products that are out there. So what's going to really work a lot better for you? I know that there's a lot of people who have been evaluating their time, and that's why they do gravitate a little towards cruises, because it is more of a packaged product. Whereas there's a lot of people who really thrive on putting all the individual details together for those spectacular FIT trips. And they really relish that challenge of creating these bespoke, never seen before itineraries for their client. Like, that is where they ooze. And I can see these people. I'm not one of those people, but I can see you. I can feel you, because you love the challenge of putting different things together and being able to research all the amazing things that your clients can do. And those are, again, very different time investments. This is also going to be very different, like how much somebody charges for a cruise as their professional fee is going to be different than FIT because of that time investment. I also want you to think, especially when we go back to the practical reasons to charge fees, it shouldn't be like when you're thinking about sales. I also want you to think you need to put that buffer time for those expenses that we have to account for as business owners, the sick time, the PTO, the holiday time, the vacation time, all of that. So it's not just that, yes, this trip, maybe it takes you X amount of hours, so charging this amount of planning fee is perfect, but you also have to account for, you need downtime. Everybody deserves it, and top of all of the expenses and everything. So you need to charge more than what you might think. And this is also why it's important to start thinking about not charging, but really leaning in on higher ticket items when it comes to these sales, so that you can have this buffer for whatever might happen. I know I've heard from so many people that 2024 was a really weird sales year, and I'm just going to blame the really weird election on that. The very much uncertainty of it. And I think like we're still undergoing like a period of uncertainty too, of what will be happening. And so a lot of people, their buying patterns are not the same. And so that's like something else that you have to pick up on, where maybe it only took 4 months to close somebody before, and now it's taking 9 months to close people because of that uncertain factor. So maybe that gap might be a little bit less. It might be reducing. when you're thinking about types of products that you want to sell too, the commission level really needs to be something of importance as well, because everyone has like a different commission level. So like buying tours or excursions for somebody is typically a little less of commission than what travel insurance is or what a premium luxury product is. So again, taking into consideration that if you want to be making more money, you may consider selling more premium luxury products. The downside of that may be that you may not be well versed in those products. So now it takes you a little bit longer to make the bookings, as opposed to those budget-friendly items that you know like the back of your hand, the inside and outs, and it only takes you 2 seconds to book because you do it day in and day out. Another lever, I should have probably put that on here, like time, which is, it does go with your capacity. So how much time, and you have to weigh the pros and the cons, because some people are very willing to put in that time investment to learn the products, to experience the products for themselves so that they can talk about it more easily with their clients. Whereas other people, they just want to pump the sales out. So like they are not invested in learning anything new. They just want to keep doing what they've been doing and it's been working for them. So considering sales and time as one of the levers, and commission levels, because maybe it is, I always go back to cruise. That's my favorite. That you are wanting to make a higher commission level, that you still love selling cruises, but you need to sell more, you need to sell higher ticket cruises or a higher ticket cruise product. Because I think a couple podcast episodes, I had mentioned even this for my Disney friends, that maybe it's not, you have stopped selling any of the budget resorts, any of the like Pop Centuries and the All-Star resorts, and now you will only sell like vacation club resorts. And that immediately bumps up the commission that you make because it is a higher ticket product. So what, even with the things that you're passionate about, can you do to earn more money, to pull on that lever to be like, we're going to test something out and see if this works? Because I feel, especially when you get into more complex, higher tier, people want more of that insider information. They want that exclusivity. So what bonus insider tips can you offer them at that level? Because I know a lot of like more budget people, they're DIYers, they're into all the things, they're looking at the YouTubes of everything, where somebody who might be interested in a vacation club or a deluxe resort is that person that does not have the time because they are the C-suite in their company, because they're the stay-at-home parent who was taking care of everything at home. They don't have time to take care of the details. And that's why they have hired you and your expertise for all of this. So if you can give them an even better experience by giving all them those little jewels of information, can you bump up your commission that way and still do the thing that you really love doing? You just do a different type of product within the realm that you love doing. The other thing that I want you to consider is your conversion rate. So this is a different lever. This can be that you have a lot of leads coming into your pipeline, but the leads are not converting into sales, which is boom, red flag, oopsie, we have a problem here. When I was working in fast food at the theme parks, like we would call this a choke in the chain. So I want you to picture a theme park operation, like a fast food, if you're thinking like Burger King or McDonald's, in the back of the kitchen, somebody is putting the patty either on the grill or in a conveyor belt to be cooked. Somebody else is toasting the bread. Somebody else is making sure that all the other components are together. Like they're frying the fries or frying the chicken nuggets or anything like that. This is it is like a machine happening in the background that you don't even know about. What you as the guest knows about is that you are waiting on the other side 10-15 minutes and you don't know why your hamburger, your chicken nuggets aren't finished. Something happened to choke the chain. Maybe somebody had to dump out some chicken nuggets because they got overcooked. Maybe the conveyor belt or the grill went down, so they're having to prep burgers a different way. So there is a choke in the chain that has stopped production from like pumping things out. That's what happens when you have leads but sales aren't happening, conversions aren't happening. This could be, are you asking people for the sale as often as you should? This could also be that maybe you are asking for the sale, but whatever is in your pitch is not converting people, especially if you're coming like thinking about the car salesman, you're coming at it from like it's selfishly, like this is all about you and this is not about your client. And it could be a multitude of things. And I do say, like, I need you to care about your client so that you can improve. But this may be also a consideration that maybe you need some additional sales training to help you close those sales, especially when you're on these discovery calls. To which if that's something that you're thinking, and if you're not exactly sure where the choke in the chain might be happening exactly, this is where you need to have some data where you're calculating, okay, I've met this many people, I've had coffee chats with this many people, they're on my email list, they're getting my weekly emails. You need to factor in all these data points, these metrics like I talked about last week, so that you know like what's working for you, what's not working for you. So if at the point that you're noticing like your discovery calls are not working for you, then you need some additional sales training. I will plug, because I think I saw that Teak is doing a training actually on something like this about increasing sales like through your discovery calls. So just go ahead, check out Teak. I don't have many of the information, but I wanted to give you the information in case it would be helpful for you. If you are having all the leads, if they're converting to all the discovery calls, then we're at the next lever that you need to pull, because you're probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed, my friend. And that lever is either hiring help or adding some systems and automations to your business. And so I'm a huge fan of both, like hiring help when you need to hire help. Sometimes you might need help more often than others. I also want you to be aware of that there's a lot of things that computers and machines can do for you nowadays. So you might think you might need to hire help for XYZ, and I can be like, you can actually just do that in ChatGPT in 5 seconds and it'll be a lot easier for you. Because something that is coming to the forefront, I kept saying 2024 is the year of specificity. And that is true. That will hold true, I feel, even going into 2025. I'm dubbing 2025 as the year of humanity. Because, yes, there's all these things that are going to be able to help us like work faster and better and more efficient. But what's going to set you apart from all the machines is you and your humanity and all the different intricacies about you, as well as all the different intricacies that you know of and aware of with your clients. Computers don't know that. They can't figure that out. They do not have life experience to be able to know how frustrating it is when you're driving on the road and somebody cuts you off. But different things like that. Like, it is such a hassle when you are at the airport and you only have 30 minutes and you have to run from one gate all the way to the next gate, which is like 2 miles away. It's not fun. And so you have this knowledge and expertise to really assist your travel clients. Like, this is what really makes you unique. And especially if you have even more layers to you. Like I always go to members of marketing business school. So somebody specializes in helping burnt out teachers travel. I have a few that are helping people who are in their next phase of life, retirement phase, empty nester phase. They're helping people now travel who have been wanting to travel their whole lives. And there's certain things about like just those two I will never know about because I don't have that life experience. And that is Okay, but that's what makes you a diamond. I want you. Oh, that gave me goosebumps. That is what makes you a diamond because you know exactly how to relate to your clients that no machine could. And so, while yes, I want you to take advantage of systems and automations, especially when we're talking about your funnel and getting people scheduling calls and having them going through email sequences with you, there are certain touch points that have to be human. And there are certain parts of the client experience that have to be human, that you cannot replace yourself. Those are the parts that you really need to focus in on, so that machines or outside help can help you with the other things that don't necessarily need the human experience, the human impact on. Oh, wow, I did not think that was going to get me, but that got me a little bit. So when I say like hiring automation or using automation, it is using AI. It's those email welcome sequences. It's using your CRM systems and having workflows and task lists already written up. It's being able to use your project management tool and setting up automations that if something happens in your tool, then you get an email notification that something has happened in your tool. There are just so many different things that can make life so much easier for you. And then in the parts that really need a human eyeball on it, that is when you hire the help. And it's going to be so much more meaningful when you hire a teammate to help you out. And this can be just somebody that helps you with marketing or finances or admin tasks. Hiring help, I also think of, do you want to add on independent contractors to your own travel agency? It's not something that I talk too much about because I feel it feels a little MLM-y to me, even though it isn't MLM. I know many of legit travel agencies that have ICs under them. It's just not like my specialty and my forte. So this may be like where you need a different expert to help you in growing that aspect if that is something of importance. But I feel like there's like just bad people that become hosts and then have like bad practices when it comes to managing ICs that I get a little leery of promoting you adding ICs to your business, because I also want to be very responsible and I also want you to be a responsible business owner as well. So really, when we're looking at pulling different levers to help you make more money in 2025, you need to first look at your foundation, that capacity. How much time do you have? How much money do you need to make? Are the leads flowing? Aren't they flowing? Are the type of sales that you're having exactly the sales that you want? Do you want to have the same sales by working less? Maybe you want to sell larger ticket items so that you can work less. Also factoring in your commission levels. Do you want to increase the percentage of commission that you make, or is the commission that you make like really great and you just have to focus on a different lever this year? Your conversion rate. Are people buying what you have to sell? This could be a couple of different things. Like I did focus a lot on sales training, but maybe this is just even copywriting. You need to hire like a copywriter to review your discovery call page, to review your sales pages for your group websites and things like that, and see if the copy isn't inspiring people to make that connection. And then also hiring on assistants, whether through virtual assistants or people who specialize in different areas in business or through automations. The goals can be very different to making more money, working less, doing both, retiring to spend more time with your kids. You also have to consider, what is it that is making you money right now? Because I know for the most part, you're probably making money through some sort of professional fee and travel commission. But is another lever that you want to pull this year adding different streams of revenue? And I do caution this, like I am a huge proponent of different streams of revenue. You know, I've talked about this a lot this year. But if you have not gotten the stronghold on one revenue stream, I don't want you to start thinking about another one unless you want to not focus on that revenue stream anymore. Like, I really want you to focus on getting really great at one revenue stream and then adding on and being great at that revenue stream as well. This is not like, I do love the whole experimentation, but this is not like we're just going to jump around from piece to piece and figure out what works for us. We have to do something good, hone in on it well, and either you stick with it or you don't because you want to try something new or whatever it might be. And this can be paid consultations, this can be affiliate links, this can be you starting the subscription service, this can even be you selling pre-made or custom itineraries for people. And I also want you to start thinking that how can you make your marketing a little bit more human when it comes to 2025, because it's really going to be those human elements that help people stand out in an ever increasing digital and tech world. Because we all know if you're using AI, it's pretty easy to tell now, especially if you've been using it a lot yourself. Like, I've gotten to the point where one of my AIs, I have to tell it, do not use AI language like this phrase and this phrase, like exciting news. Anytime I see a post that says exciting news or exciting announcement, I'm like, you wrote that in AI. Like, this isn't even you. If it's got a lot of emojis, probably AI. If you're telling me to dive in deep, it's probably AI. Like, that's one of the phrases that I told my AI, do not use this in anything that you write. Do I say dive in deep? Yes, because I think that's just a phrase that I use, but it's just so leery that AI has adopted that phrasing too. It's like, let's try different types of things. So, yeah, those are some of the different levers. I know I've bounced around a little bit here and there. I would love to hear from you. If you'll shoot me back a text, which actually that makes me think, I believe I did get a text recently from somebody about one of my recent episodes, and I believe it was a fairly long fan mail. Let's see, I think it's from Jacksonville, Florida. Hello, friend. Hey, Rita, these are great reminders. I'm so glad you shared these points. Many you made seem like common sense that people tend not to be cognizant of. I have made several errors from just not knowing protocols, especially when I was new to the industry. I still have challenges with getting thank you notes and emails out in a timely manner when on a fam. Recently, I went on a fam with my ASTA chapter to Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. We came up with a system. Oh, wait, did I say this one? Yes, I think I did say this one. We came up with a system for, oh, here's the new one. Sorry, guys. Hey, Rita, thanks for going through all the metrics. It helps to know what the cog in the marketing machine needs to be tweaked to get it to work the way that you want it to. It can take forever when you are trying to do it on your own. Winky face. This is actually from a travel advisor that I will be, she's coming into one of my coaching programs next year, so I'm really excited to work with them. But if you have any other feedback, feel free, just hit that button, shoot Rita your thoughts, and it'll send me your thoughts, and I'll shout you out on the podcast. All right, this is the last time we're talking to each other before the merriest of holidays. So I celebrate Christmas. I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas with all of your family and friends. Stay safe, be healthy, have just the best of times. If you celebrate Hanukkah, I know we're buddies this year. We're aligned this year. So happy Hanukkah, and then also happy Kwanzaa for those of you that celebrate. I know there's many other holidays, so whatever it is that you're celebrating this holiday season, I hope that it is the bestest that it can be and as happy as it can be, regardless of whatever your circumstances are. I will be here next week sharing you all the dirt of the best and worst things of 2024. And until then, I will see you. Bye. Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Remember to check out the show notes for all relevant links and resources from today's show. See you next time.